everyone. Today we've got something a little bit weird, and that is this Sonar pen. Now I'm always on the lookout for interesting new styluses. I really like active ones that just kind of enhance the usefulness of existing tablets. And so that's what brought me to this Sonar pen, and this was sent in by the manufacturer, and it says this is the world's most affordable smart pen. It was cheaper. I'll put the price in the description because I've got to look it up. I don't know it off the top of my head. Looks like I was sending you it in fuchsia. Just looking at the box, this looks like it was destined for retail. We've got a plastic hang tag like it would be on display in a school bookstore or something of that nature. So we've got pressure sensing, palm rejection, there's a shortcut button, a magnetic holder, no battery required. We've got some pictures of example artwork that I would hope has been created with this. It looks like they've got a hashtag that they, ran a contest on Instagram or something to take user submissions. Box includes Sonar pen, pen holder, extra pen nib, hours of creative fun. I don't think there's hours of creative fun in the box, but with that said, let's go ahead and pop this open using our team flash drive. And get a look at what's inside. Alright, so we got a couple of stickers. Stickers are always fun. We get multi-language instructions. Looks like they're in English and French. Plug it into the audio port and draw. Universal pen holder for iPad and iPhone. Allow access to microphone. Must be granted for it to function properly. Gold nib optimized for Android devices, silver nib optimized for iOS. So this has a couple of different things included in the package. I wish they wouldn't have stuffed that in there. Alright, so this is a adhesive-backed holder for the pen, which, that's interesting. So it's actually got two holders. It's got one little one that just sticks to the pen and would stop it from rolling away, as it were. And I bet you could, does that fit in like a USB-C port? No, but I bet it would fit in a lightning port. Oh yeah, pen holder for lightning port included. Okay, so that's what that's about. And here's the universal one that would stick to a device. Honestly, even if you had an iOS device with a headphone jack, I'd still prefer this over the lightning port, since using the lightning port one would block the block access. So it mentions an app. There's a question about Android recording audio, so let's go ahead and grab my studio monitor. So, alright, so we installed ArtFlow. Did we install the actual Sonar pen driver as well? Let's go back to, oh, yep, the stylus driver is installed. So let's find our headphone jack. We're going to go on battery for this. Plug it in. We're going to open up ArtFlow, which is not something I've used before. Allow it to, yeah, it needs that in order to do things. I don't want to sign into account. I'm okay with this. And so let's just see if anything's working. So it's definitely picking up the pen as it is. Oh, okay. And it's definitely pressure sensitive. Let's see if I can adjust any of the settings for it. I mean, there was a special driver for it. Let's set these. There we go. So, yeah. It was a nifty little app. What's this button do? Does the button do anything inside? It looks like it triggered the Google Assistant. So I don't think it's quite optimized for that, although it did. Yeah. I'm going to have to play with this a little more. Basically, it's a tethered stylus, so there's no batteries to go bad. My understanding is that they call it Sonar. I would assume that it does something with the microphone, but I don't really see any obvious ports on the pen for something like that. You know what? We're going to put my studio monitor back where it goes. We're going to open it up because that's half the point of reviewing things like this. I want to see what's inside. My guess would be that they're calling it Sonar Pen because it's using the audio jack for power, but that it's not actually doing anything with sound. I would guess that what it's doing is just taking power from there. And we're going to find out really quick, so we're going to take out the gold nib. And this looks like 00 Phillips. And we're going to see what's in the head of a Sonar pen. And lo and behold, there's our button. There is a moving component that looks like it grabs onto our nib there. So the nib is translating a capacitive signal from this little pad. And it just looks like there's a couple of little surface mount parts on a thin strip here. In fact, is there anything else even in here? Oh, there's another screw so I can take it apart further. I need to get more spudgers. And if anyone has a good place to get some, and yes, I know iFixit's the normal recommendation there, but I don't need a whole kit, I just need some more spudgers. Let me know, and we'll try it. Yeah, so this whole thing, it's wiring the audio jacks to this little thin flexible PCB that has a button, and what that button's doing is that's sending the same signal that if you had wired earbuds and you tapped the adjustment on them to pause and play, and that's why it interpreted that I was trying to open up the Google Assistant with it. So there's not a whole lot to the hardware here, and that's not a bad thing. Simple is good, but basically what they've done is instead of requiring a battery for the active stylus, they're just using a headphone jack for power. Now, so really, if you're the kind of person who's going to be in an art app all the time, I'm looking at this saying it's fairly simplistic. Now, obviously, there's manufacturing and everything else that goes into this. I mean, there's the magnet, and they've got to produce these and make a profit when they do so. I'm not going to discount the simplicity of the device for its cost. I am going to say that it feels like I should get a little bit more for $35, and that's kind of why I was looking for it on Amazon, is when I saw this, I believe it was cheaper on Amazon, but I think they're simply out of stock, likely due to some of the production and supply challenges all the companies have had lately. And if you can find this for under 35, then it's a good deal. At 35, there's a couple of styluses we've looked at before that use things like quadruple A batteries and offer a little bit more of a finer point. This uses that large rubber pad, and it is centered in that pad, but I have a hard time using these. So it's not bad, it's just not a style that I tend to prefer. I don't know. At 35, I would have liked to have seen more nibs included. I'm not inherently thinking that this is a bad price. It just feels a little bit higher than I would have liked. Let's see if I can wrap the cable back up. And that appears to be a resounding... I screwed up somewhere. So, anyway, that aside, I'll get the cable wrapped back up later. If you use your device for art all the time and you still have a headphone jack, this isn't a bad way to do things. It's never going to go dead. Even Apple's Pencil can't claim that because it still needs to be charged, and quite frankly, unless you buy a charging dock for it, plugging into the lightning port's a terrible solution. Now, coming back to devices this price point, I mentioned already there's a couple of finer point styluses we've looked at before. I'll link my review of one of those in the description. I don't think this is a bad solution. I just think it's not a solution that I personally am interested in. And I will continue to play with this and follow this up with a written article at some point in the future to, to really give it a fair shake. I've played around with it for a few minutes taking it out of the box. So I may find that this is really far more awesome than it seemed to be on my little LG tablet that's my studio monitor, cracked screen and all. Or I may find that I just am not the right target audience for a device like this. I'm also going to try it on some other devices. I've got a Windows tablet in here that uses a capacitive screen that I'm curious to see how it behaves on. That's definitely one aspect that I always want to evaluate on things like this, is I know it says it supports iOS and Android. iPad and iPhone, which I assume that you can use it with an audio port adapter on the iPad and iPhone, so that's not terrible there. But how's it behave under Windows? Because I have Windows tablets, and as strange as it may sound, they're actually useful. Alright, I think that's enough rambling. First off, I want to thank Sonar for sending it in. Even if it isn't necessarily quite the thing I'm most excited about, I am happy to take a look at it. Secondly, I want to thank our patrons as well as anyone who's helped support Pocketables through our Amazon affiliate links. It is support like that that helps encourage us to continue making videos and new content and drive some of our other content. Things like the news posts just wouldn't happen without outside support. Finally, I want to thank Electrix for providing our opening and closing themes as always. And with all that said, thank you for watching.